Phoenix Column. And we're here, in my mind, to celebrate its 150th birthday. So with that said, let's raise and say happy birthday, Phoenix Column. And I brought a representative example. It's sort of like bringing coal to Newcastle. But after I'm through speaking, if you want to come up and take a look at my section of Phoenix Column, I invite you to do so. This section has a story which ties into what I'll be talking about tonight. This section is made up of 3 segments. Okay? And as you'll see here, this is the patent drawing that Samuel Reeves turned in on June 17th, 1862, so just a little over 150 years ago. You'll see his drawing of the Phoenix Column here is 4 sections. And the sections are these channels that are bowed, and they're riveted together at the flanges. And you have a wonderful collection of them here at the foundry. You've got one right behind us here. I believe that's a 4. You've got some out there that go up to maybe 8 segments. And so you'll see that they did do them in 4s, 5s, 6s, and 8s. The 3 is very unusual, and I want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to that a little bit later on, because it has to do with how Samuel Reeves came up with the idea for the Phoenix Column, and other competing ideas about columns that were in the air at the time that he came up with this patent. So my talk tonight is really sort of organized around 3 parts. The first part is going to be about the sort of the basic history of the Phoenix Column. Many of you are going to know much of this. Feel free to raise questions as I go along, or insights that you might have. Then I'm going to go from that into the middle section of my talk, which is really about how Reeves came up with the idea, and particularly, some of you may not know, that he was sued over that idea, and that there were other people who claimed to have had it first. And I'm going to talk a bit about that and how it played out in the courts in the 1860s. And then at the end of that, I'll talk a little bit just about the preservation of Phoenix columns and some of the efforts that are going on throughout the country and methods of preserving them, particularly in bridges. So let's get started with that. As I said, this is the patent. Right here is a photograph with the roll mark on it, the Phoenix Iron Company. This is actually from the Doty Road Bridge, which
really?
Yes, this photograph is Doty Road, and those of you who don't know, does everybody know Doty Road Bridge?
No.
No. Okay. Doty Road Bridge is in storage here in Phoenixville. It was a bridge in Bergen County, New Jersey, which had to be replaced. Is it the Historical Society's property? Is that? Do you own it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to tell them, I saw an ad
Yeah.
in my Historic Preservation magazine,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to write a grant, and we were working on the foundry, and the Army Corps of Engineers brought the bridge to us, the Phoenixville Area Economic Development Corporation. This is 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we still haven't made use of it, but we sold it to the borough for $1.
Oh, okay.
And then with the soap opera of the steel company, different development plans gone awry, it still hasn't been used. But the BPG group, who we hope will get their approval tonight, I sort of nudged them a little bit to make use of the Phoenix Column Bridge, and the borough has agreed to sell them the bridge for $1. Stay tuned. It's a work in progress, but it's not in bad shape. I just looked at it on Friday.
It's in great shape. I have some photographs, better photographs of it. This is just a piece of it. So, sort of, set the context. This is for the chronologically challenged. 1862 was the Civil War was going on. In June 1862, the 7 Days Battle was raging in Virginia. This is a photograph taken about the time of the battle. Of course, here at Phoenixville, they were really earning a reputation for the manufacture of the barrels of the Griffin gun, which is a wrought iron field piece or rifle, which was extremely accurate in its day, and also, unlike most of the other field pieces of its age, was wrought iron and not cast iron. That gave it the advantage of not being as brittle as cast iron is, and so it had less of a tendency to crack or explode. Barrels didn't explode so much. So these were important innovation in artillery technology, and was a huge advantage to the Union Army. It was named after John Griffin, who was the superintendent of works for the Phoenix Iron Company. It really is an amazing thing. It's really a wrought iron plate that is spiral wrapped, okay, and then rifled out. So they really understood here at Phoenixville the highest technology in the use of wrought iron, which gets to the Phoenix column, which is a wrought iron column of these channels that are riveted from 3 to 8 segments, I say. This is a photograph of one of their catalogs for wrought iron columns. You can see they come in lots of sizes, different numbers of segments. They gave them letters depending on the size of the column and the number of segments. So you could call up Phoenixville and say, I need, 8 column Ds, 20 foot long. They would rivet them up for you, put them on the train, ship them to your project site. You have to remember that when this Phoenix column was coming out in the 1860s, that most structural applications of iron in that period were still using cast iron for compression members. Cast iron is very strong in compression when it's being squeezed, carrying a load that way. It's not very strong when it's in tension, being pulled. The beauty of the Phoenix column was that it was wrought iron, and its specific shape gave it also high compressive strength as well as tensile strength. But in the 1860s, it was still pretty much the age of cast iron. This is a famous cast iron bridge, the Bowman Truss in Savage, Maryland. If you're ever going